Hey everyone, it's AB Stoddard with the Bulwark, and I'm back with my great friend, one of my favorite people, and one of our fearless leaders at the Bulwark, Bill Kristol. He is the co-author of Morning Shots, and he is also editor at large. And we were just remarking what a different world we're in than the last time we met last week. It feels so good. It feels good to feel good. And we have to temper our excitement and ebullience, Bill, because there's a lot of challenge ahead for Kamala Harris. And I was reminded, I did a panel on Monday morning with Brookings, and Bill Galston, our friend, reminded us the Obama campaign successfully defined Mitt Romney before he got to his convention, and he never recovered. And so there is this very important window right now. And you had a conversation with Doug Sosnick about this, that this sort of critical period where she has to jump out kind of away from the Biden record, right? And be her own person before the Republicans do that to her. And they're trying really hard. We're hearing a lot about the border czar and all that. Let me know about your thoughts and Doug's on how she can take advantage and the perils of not taking this seriously.
Yeah, it is amazing. I mean, we did this conversation a week ago. I remember it well. And it's hard to believe that Biden was still in and Biden got out Sunday. And now we're talking Wednesday. Yeah. I mean, it feels like that was Biden's been out for about 3 weeks. The Harris campaign
I know.
Been chugging along, doing quite well, actually. So anyway, yeah, we're on warp speed here. But I think warp speed is the point that, and this is the point Sosnick makes it sound like Galston, they were colleagues at Clinton White House the first term. Doug was there throughout the second term too, as political director, and was key in the 96 re-elect of Clinton. It sounds like they're thinking in the same way, which is this. I mean, normally, as an incumbent versus a challenger, the incumbent's well known. He has some baggage, but he also has some advantages. You define the challenger as less well known. Dole was well known in 95, 96, but not as a presidential possibility. And obviously, Romney less so in 2012. And I'd say John Kerry considerably less so in 2004, Senator from Massachusetts. And in each case, the incumbent running for re-election defined the challenger negatively, quite effectively. So differs, the time is a little different, but I'd say anywhere from late fall of the year before through the summer to the convention. But that's the window you have. And Sosnick's point, and it sounds like Bill also was making a similar point, is it's hard to recover from that. We think of campaigns, the drama, the debates, September, October. They don't usually turn around in September, October. Usually someone's ahead going into September, October. And that sticks. I mean, there's a huge amount of ads on both sides. There's so much noise, you can't no one even learns anything new. You already know about the candidates. The debates don't really change things. They did this time in June, obviously, a huge way. So what Sosnick does in this conversation, I quoted Morning Shots and reflects a bit on it, is just say how crucial. We're now in a compressed situation where what normally happens from February through July is happening in 3 or 4 weeks until the Democratic Convention. The Democratic Convention we're speaking on Wednesday is 3.5, 4 weeks from now, right? Their speech will be 4 weeks from tomorrow. And that's sort of the culmination of this period where she gets a good launch. She's done that. Fresh start, huge relief among Democrats. I think some consolidation of the base among Democrats, which gives her just a little bit of some bump up already. And she gets to make her case, reintroduce herself to the American people. What I've been struck by, that talking to some of the Harris people and some people close to Harris people, is they sort of vaguely think, well, how should she do this? She should do that and this. And it's sort of like they vaguely forgot, and I've fallen into this trap too in the past, that like the other side gets a vote. You know, the Trump people are sitting around thinking, gee, I'm kind of curious. How's she going to reintroduce herself? You know, maybe she'll be more moderate. Maybe she'll be, more feminist. Maybe they're going to go up in the air. They got a ton of money. They saved it pretty well, actually, the last month. They haven't spent anything because of Biden's problems. They're going to go up in the air with massive ad buys and all kinds of other efforts in the key Midwestern swing states, especially defining her. And it's not obvious. Well, A, it's not easy to respond to that. Everything has to happen super fast now. B, other candidates haven't responded well, Romney and Kerry, for example. And it's not so easy to know what to do. I mean, does she answer the charges that she's a California liberal, that she was border czar and failed in doing that she's just a Biden lackey who helped cover up his illness and has no independent standing? Those are, I think, maybe the three that are sort of obvious ones. Does she answer? Does she ignore them and just define herself and hope that she kind of outpaces their definition? Does she just attack Trump and figure, you know what, maybe if Trump is the de facto incumbent, which I think he is now, right? He's run nationally twice. I mean, she's never run at the top of the ticket nationally. Maybe just attack Trump and just figure, what, people will think about me what they want, but I just need to get to 51% anti-Trump. I really don't know, actually, the answer. They have a lot more data and a lot more ability to think this through, presumably, in the Harris campaign. But they have to do it fast. And that's the difference between some of these other situations where they got a little more time.
Well, it's not like she hasn't been thinking about it.
Well, that's true.
It's not right. It's not like her people haven't been. I mean, it's really important. I think you're right. I would recommend, if she has a good response for how much visibility did you have into Joe Biden's decline, this type of thing, right? If you have I think you have a good punchy response that sort of goes there, but not entirely. And she has to have a 2-sentencer on how she was actually dispatched to work on diplomatic relations with Central America, and she was not a border czar. Okay, come out and knock that bumper sticker down. So if they can pull together some responses, I would do a 60 Minutes interview in the next couple of weeks and get it gone so that people who want to defend her can use those talking points and just bury this. What I see, which is so amazing, Bill, is random senators who've not done TV ever are crawling out there to defend the vice president, to champion her as the new candidate, because they're not going to get questions about Biden's age. People want to promote this ticket and whoever, is going to join her. So I think they need those answers too. And I think it should be sealed up pretty soon. I have 2 questions for you. One is, Mona and I were talking about this yesterday. I mean, there's going to be people who are anti-Trump, but what are they still going to be upset with her about the border? Were they going to vote for Biden, but they needed someone younger? I mean, what she needs to do and what she can do, and what's so scary to the Republicans, is that she can just create new vote that says, I don't care what she did on the border. I'm excited about her. She's the future. She's changed in a change election. She is a woman. She's young, and I'm excited. And I want to get rid of these old guys and move forward. And I don't care about any of this. Creating that new vote in the right places is priceless, right? So that's a big threat to Trump. Is it's no longer a persuasion election where you're persuading people to vote for Biden who are anti-Trump. This is a mobilization election. So in a way, I don't know how much a lot of that matters with people who are going to tune that out and are just excited. And then, but I do think for people who want to go out and fight the fight for her, yeah, I think that she needs to have answers. Do you think what do you think of my thesis that her superpower now is that, unlike, she can turn out new vote that Biden and Trump can't?
No, I think that's clear. And I guess I think that's what let's call that mobilization or whatever. And I think therefore she immediately makes the race closer against Trump. I would be worried that the mobilization alone gets her to losing by 3 points instead of by 8, whichever, where Biden was heading, not to winning in Pennsylvania and Michigan. It could, and Wisconsin. I still think those are the key states. I don't really buy the argument that suddenly she's going to surge. I mean, she might win some states, but I don't think she's going to win them or lose in the Western states. So I still think they're key. They do have those flippers, those anti-Hillary people from 2016 who did go for Biden in 2020. She needs to keep them on board or win them back, I think. And so I very much agree with you that of the different charges against her, I think covering up Biden's illness and incapacity to the degree he had it doesn't really stick. I mean, she was vice president. People don't really expect her. I mean, people expect her to be loyal to the president. I don't think it's a huge deal. I kind of agree on the border. I just think it's important that she really get that out there and in real pay TV, be tough on the border. I mean, she needs to hammer Trump for blowing up the toughest border deal in 20 years and say she would sign it if it came back to her next year. And, really kind of just sound not like she has sounded in the past, nor like a typical Democrat on the border, whatever the merits of that. I just think it's politically too risky to let that sit out there. The one that I'm not sure about, there's a Dave McCormick, it's not an ad, it's a TV video that's up. He's the Senate candidate, as you know, the Republican Senate candidate in Pennsylvania.
Kamala Harris is inspiring and very capable. The more people get to know her, they're going to be particularly impressed by her ability.
The nonpartisan GovTrack has rated you as the most liberal senator.
I am prepared to get rid of the filibuster to pass a Green New Deal. There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
Would you ban offshore drilling?
Yes.
What is the solution for voters in the fossil fuel industry?
Giving the workers an ability to transition. We're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals. That's correct.
So it's an attack on Casey, the incumbent Democrat, for praising Harris. But it's really about 90% about Harris. It's just a way of attacking Casey by attacking Harris. And it's just clips from the 2019 debates, basically, the primary debates, when they were all pandering to the left. And I got to say, I watched it, I'm obviously for Harris, and I've forgotten how much they pandered to the left. And those clips taken together, those 8 seconds, are bad. I mean, if you are a swingish voter in Pennsylvania, you do not want to see this anti-energy, Green New Deal, sort of anti-police, stuff from 2019-20. I don't know, maybe I don't know what she said. She said, that was then, this is now, totally different situation. I said some things I don't agree with anyway. How explicitly does she sort of walk away from that? You can get it yourself, and Kerry did this famous thing in 2004, right, with all the voting against it before voting for it, or whatever it was.
Yeah, exactly.
Or backwards. I mean, you can get yourself wrapped around the axle unless you think through and have a disciplined answer to this, to this kind of charge. You can end up with, well, on this one, I meant to say this. Let me explain. Police occasionally do engage in misconduct, and then you're in the weeds of this, and maybe she can. So I'd say that McCormick ad, or I guess the video online, is worth watching to see. And I think that's the toughest attack on her. I just think the easiest attack is often the toughest. And the easiest attack on her, regardless of the truth and regardless of who she really is she is a San Francisco liberal, and muted or under the surface, she's a Black woman. And therefore, Mr. 58-year-old Pennsylvania, not college, or maybe, BA, some college, middle class person who's a little suspicious of the Dems for that. But Shapiro reassured you in 2022, she's not like Josh Shapiro. She's like John Kerry or one of these lefty people that you don't like. And I think that's what
she's radical.
She's got to really she's just, that for me could be the most damaging to her. But I agree with everything you say about change and flipping the page. Don't you think that she has to, I also think she'll say something about New Start, change, flipping the page. And some senior White House Biden staffer will call her chief of staff and say, that's not very polite to the president to say that. And she needs to be careful not to distance herself. And,
she has no choice.
She has to ignore that. It's hard, but psychologically, that's not so easy. I mean, she doesn't attack Biden ever. She's totally respectful of him, of course, but she cannot get in the business of half defending everything the Biden administration does.
No, it's time to turn the page, and that's essential. And she was trying to do that yesterday in her speech. She did talk about, our forebears and, our ancestors and the people that have come before us. And now it's time for us to do, it was very future focused.
Good.
And she needs that needs to be in the bumper stickers, sales pitch. Absolutely. Because that's what she has, right? It's
against Trump.
She's changed. He's the incumbent. She's normal. He's chaos. She's young. He's old. She's future. He's past. It's a reframe.
I like I think I didn't see the speech yesterday. I was here in New York doing some stuff, but I think she used the phrase a couple of times that he looks backwards or something like that. And
she says, we won't go back. We're not going back. And it's
backwards.
very
I think
effective.
That's a good formulation.
And the crowd says, we won't go back. We won't go back. And it's very energizing, and it's really why young people are signing up to vote and sending memes around.
Well, what we really need is a feminine nominee. A what? A feminine nominee.
Because they just wanted someone young, Bill. That's literally it. I mean, it's not that they knew anything about Kamala Harris, but all of a sudden, her popularity and this energy, it is that she is the face of tomorrow. and of today and tomorrow. And that's her gift. So she really can't worry about grandpa's feelings right now. She'll be polite, she'll be gracious, she'll be elegant. They'll use great language, but it's the future. It's forward movement, propulsion. What do you think about the VP? I want to know who you think she should pick, but I also I'm obsessed with the timing, Bill. I want him now. I want him now because I want it to be the 1-2 punch, the double package, the double assets, him on the campaign trail. No one needs to make the convention more exciting. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I think it'll be absolutely a cultural event, hugely watched, surprise Beyonce appearances, whatever, full Hollywood. Trump will absolutely have a stroke. It's everything he wants. It's all he cares about is ratings and TV events. It will be fabulous. You don't need to have the Veep announced 2 days before. I want him now. What are your thoughts?
I think that's the right instinct. I mean, now presumably means like next week, but it does take a little time to figure out what you want to do. But no, I think that's right. If I were, and I guess, don't you think maybe them campaigning together? I think that two people, young, energetic, but in their 50s, so they know what they're doing with some government experience. I think in a way, Trump fans sets up a weird dynamic where Trump's backwards, too old, twice, running for the third time. Yeah. And Hence has been in the Senate 18 months, and no one really knows anything about it. So he's kind of weird, and he has this pretty authoritarian inclination. I think you could sort of get the two of them together, I think, would be somewhat stronger than the some of the parts, or one should say that, depending on who the two are. But no, I'm kind of where you are. I sort of wasn't at first, but there's some reasons why you might want to hold it back a bit. But I kind of think that the ticket, assuming it's a good ticket, is stronger. Now, I think the fundamental. Go ahead.
It's like it makes her more new. It puts the Biden administration in the rear
That's
view.
a good point. So it's instead of Harris and former President Biden in the sort of first graph, it's Harris and Shapiro or Harris and Kelly. I mean, I think she has like basically a couple choices, but I mean, does she go? I'm going to say conventional, which I don't mean critically, because that's probably where she should go. Where I'd go, but that's probably Governor Shapiro of Pennsylvania or Senator Kelly of Arizona. I think Shapiro for the state, and because he's very popular and very talented as a politician. Kelly, I'd say less dynamic. I'm not sure how great he'd be at a debate, but there may not be debates. But the biography is excellent. Navy captain, astronaut, married to Gabby Giffords, really a decent person. Won twice in Arizona in the last 3-4 years. Stable, calm, was exactly Harris's age. So you get 59, 60 years. I mean, it was a middle-aged kind of, forward-looking ticket, but not scary or untested. I think at the end of the day, when you look at that choice, you just think, have to in Pennsylvania. You just have to in Pennsylvania. So you probably go Shapiro. The only other way to go, the only other choice, the other fork in the road, I suppose, is unconventional, which for me would mean a second woman. I guess that would be Whitmer, someone who's not in public, a retired general, a House member. I was here in New York having dinner the other night, 2 nights, Monday night. Someone was pushing Ritchie Torres, the really terrific, really impressive 36-year-old congressman from the Bronx, Buttigieg. I mean, there are impressive Spanberger. I mean, there are impressive people in the Democratic Party. They're typically in the House and not quite right for various reasons for national ticket quite yet. So I think they go through this thought process and end up, I don't know, I assume they end up at Shapiro. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that if you want to win and you have to win Pennsylvania, he's popular there, but he was also well known there for a successful record as AG, not just a bland, disappearing public figure. Like, people knew what he was doing as Attorney General. That's rare, right? And that precedes his gubernatorial win. So it's not like he's brand new there, just on the job, the way Wes Moore is in Maryland as my governor. So, right. So I think if you pluck him out of there, there's a really good chance he wins Pennsylvania. He's not just brand new governor. So I feel comfortable with that, that he could really bring it home. And that's essential. And he's also wonderful. I mean, he's, Mona and I talked yesterday. You put the link in your newsletter in Morning Shots last week to him talking about his conversation with Corey Comparator, the firefighter who lost his life at the Trump rally where the shooting happened. He talked to his widow.
I've just spent time speaking to the families, and I want to offer my prayers and the prayers of all 13 million Pennsylvanians for the two individuals who are being treated at this time. We lost a fellow Pennsylvanian last night, Corey Comparator. I just spoke to Corey's wife and Corey's two daughters. Corey was a girl dad. Corey was a firefighter. Corey went to church every Sunday. Corey loved his community. And most especially, Corey loved his family.
You look at that and you watch him, the way he talked about his conversation with her, the way he talked about Corey, and he's naturally talented. He has the intangible, but then he also has this great substantive record. And he's young and he's 4 kids. He's totally normal. He doesn't have like any slickness to him. So I think that and he's young and he's tomorrow. So I think that, it's like kind of like you have to, Andy Bashir, always handsome and charming and has this deep Southern accent. And everyone will think he's, it would be great if she's like, here's my guy from Appalachia. Like, that's awesome, right? And that would be in the movie. But if he doesn't bring you a state and so I don't know, maybe she'll surprise. I think it's daring to pick someone young, right? Because we're going to implicit in the argument is that Vance is a 39-year-old baby with no experience who looks 12, and he was just picked out of loyalty for Trump. And maybe he's supposed to juice some bro vote, but he's useless, right? So that's the argument that we're going to be making. And so I think I just want her to have someone. I don't want her to surprise with someone that seems exciting, but isn't really a solid choice. Ritchie Torres is a huge up and coming, really talented, substantive member of Congress who could do the job.
No, exactly.
But I don't want anyone to have any doubts about voting for her.
Do you think, Whitmer, I'd say, is a very talented politician. And I'm a little less freaked out than everyone else about the idea of 2 women. I don't know that there's any actual human being who would vote for Kamala Harris, a Black woman to be president, but won't vote if the vice president is a female governor of Michigan. I don't know. It feels to me like that's close to a null. Like the Venn diagram there is very little population of those voters. Having said that, I think they will think it's too much, and it conveys a vague sense. And you need men, they do need some white male votes. And so which she gets. Gretchen Whitmer got a ton of them in Michigan, but Shapiro didn't exist out for Whitmer, I think. The Kelly thing, I was intrigued by. I'm very sympathetic to veterans, and he seems like a really wonderful man. I looked actually at a couple of clips of him speaking and stuff and debating, and we're not talking Shapiro Whitmer level.
My diplomatic word choice is flat. He doesn't deliver that's the reason he's not on TV. And
he's a good senator, but right. But he won't. Yeah,
and I'm sure he's really popular in Arizona.
You're a theme of them, of her making the pick early. I don't know, a bus tour through the 3 Midwestern states the week before the Democratic convention with Harris and Shapiro as the VP nominee, joined by Whitmer, obviously, in Michigan, and joined by Fetterman in Pennsylvania, joined by Tammy Baldwin and the governor of Wisconsin. And that would be a pretty, other 3 people and some celebrities and so forth. And that would be pretty good, I think.
That's a wonderful idea. I'm very pumped up. And they should also go to the Sun Belt and hang out with, Mark Kelly in Arizona. What's exciting is just knowing that she can go and keep moving. Trump can't do that. He's not going to do 4 rallies a day.
No.
She anyway. So it just feels good. But yeah, I want him, whoever he is. I want him. I want it now because it turns the page, and I think that's what we need to do. Bill, it's. I hope we have a Veep by the next time we talk.
That'd be great.
If not, we'll be encouraging them next time we talk to to pick one soon. It's great to be with you as always. Thanks to everyone. And there's always more on the Bulwark's YouTube channel. There's going to be coverage tonight of President Biden's speech to the nation and ongoing coverage of all this excitement. So check back here frequently. Thank you.